Length of relationship, married 7 years. 2 kids and 1 on the way. My wife and I had a date night yesterday. We had a reservation at a restaurant, got a sitter for the kids, and went out. The restaurant was overbooked, and we ended up getting delayed for almost 45 minutes. While we were waiting for A, I struck up a conversation with a young woman who was out with some friends. My wife ended up going back to the car to make some calls while I waited. The woman Emma and her group were delayed too. So we just talked about that. It turns out she goes to the same school I graduated from. So we were talking about that. It was just a nice conversation. I didn't think much of it. I was just being friendly. I had zero plans of anything more. I would never cheat on my wife. Emma did see my wife, and I did introduce my wife to her. My wife made some joking comment about her being my type. I laughed and admitted that she was attractive. My wife and I do this sort of thing all the time. We'll mention if someone is attractive and she knows what my type is and I know hers. We've never cheated on one another, and it's just harmless fun. My wife had no problems with me talking to her while we were waiting. We had a nice meal, and I went to grab our car while my wife waited inside. We had to park a couple blocks away, so I didn't want her to walk. I ran into the same girl from the restaurant on the walk to the car, and I said, "Hi," and we talked for a bit. She mentioned that we should get coffee sometime if I wanted to. We had an interesting talk, and I thought it would be nice to finish it up sometime. And it was kind of flattering, so I didn't want to say no. I gave her my number, and she gave me hers. I brought the car back, and my wife and I drove home. On the way home, I got a couple texts from this girl saying, "Emma, hey, it was nice talking tonight. Much more interesting conversation than my normal friends. Haha, we should hang out together soon." I left my phone on the console, and we were using it for directions, so my wife saw the text immediately. She absolutely exploded at this and has not calmed down at all. The C-word cheating has been thrown around by her, and she literally started crying. I did apologize, and I promised her I wasn't cheating. The thing is, I don't think I messed up at all. I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't ask for the girl's number. I didn't text her. Did I do anything wrong? Relevant comments. Somebody said your wife is pregnant and you are letting a hot 20-year-old co-ed hit on you. I'm sure you think your intentions are pure, and I'm equally sure hers aren't. And deep down, yours probably aren't entirely noble either. The attention and interest from a younger woman must feel good. But you got the attention, so drop it and leave Emma alone. It's pretty easy to understand why your pregnant wife is hurt. Original poster replied, "The attention and interest from a younger woman must feel good." Oh, without a doubt, I'm not denying that at all. Honestly, it's not the first time something like this has happened. Someone asked, "How would you feel if you went out to dinner with your wife?" She struck up a conversation with a hot college guy and gave him your number. This situation didn't just happen. You chose to start a conversation with a stranger while you waited for a table with your wife. You gave this girl her number, and it was all about your ego. No one can know what Emma's intentions are. Maybe she was hitting on you. Maybe she was hoping to get a job connection. But your intentions are clearly about your own ego and show a lack of regard for your wife. You don't think you did anything wrong because you didn't ask for her number, but you shouldn't have given her your number. It also reflects poorly on you that on a night out without your kids, your instinct was to chat with a random girl rather than your wife. You didn't cheat, but you have a serious lack of loyalty. Original poster replied, "I'd be very surprised if a hot college guy was interested in a heavily pregnant woman." That aside, yeah, I'd be kind of annoyed. It wasn't a job connection thing. Her major is completely different from what I do. It's an interesting perspective you have. I appreciate it. I do think some of this was an ego thing. It felt good, and it was nice to know someone other than my wife was into me. I think it was basically harmless, though. Update ages, genders. Me, a 33-year-old man. Emma is 20. Length of relationship, 3 weeks. I debated posting an update or not since the reception I've had on this sub has been icy at best. But I've already posted my story here, so I may as well keep at it. Yes, I'm cheating. So there is that. I understand a lot of people don't support that, but just realize it's very complicated. And I am trying to put an end to this. I feel like the unluckiest cheater in the world. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Every cliche has basically happened to me. I just wanted to live a little and have that quick affair and get back to my wife and marriage. Asked for advice about a week or so ago, I tried to break up with Emma. I told her my wife was getting suspicious and we both deserved better. I told her she was an awesome girl and deserved to have someone all for herself. Her response: "I'll wait for you. I love you more than I know possible." It's not even been a month of us being together. I ended things with her, and she kept texting me and asking me to talk to her. I met up with her on Friday to have a closure-type deal. I'm a horny idiot. I banged her in the back of my Jeep, which sent the wrong message. I told her we can't do this anymore and didn't talk to her. Freesat Sunmon or twos. Yesterday, she begged me to talk to her, so I went to her place. We end up talking way longer than we should, and some things go down. I just wish she would leave me alone. She is clingy and needy and honestly, pretty damn crazy. Not what I signed up for. I'm like dying under the stress and drama. I have a hormonal pregnant wife and 2 young kids. I don't need this shit. And the guilt is starting to get at me. I don't know what I am going to do. I honestly do not even want to continue the affair at this point. I'm not sure what my next move is. Just feel like venting right now. Relevant comments. Somebody said, "You're asking for sympathy for being a cheater. The irony, your wife deserves better." Original poster replied, "I'm asking for sympathy for getting too far into this. I obviously own the decision to cheat. It was my choice. My wife may or may not deserve better. I don't automatically the worst husband ever. Because I cheated one time. She doesn't become a martyr because of my actions. You know, she still has her faults. I should not have cheated on her, though." Another commenter. "It was just a nice conversation. I didn't think much of it. I was just being friendly. I had 0 plans for anything more. I would never cheat on my wife." Ever Original Poster replied, "How I wish I listened to myself now." Look, it's easy to say you would never cheat. But when someone who is attractive is offering herself to you, it's very different. You never know till you are on the spot update. I had a 1-month fling with a woman that I recently ended. I am married, and the fling was an affair. I deeply regret I've really struggled with ending things with her. I've tried multiple times to end it since we hooked up, and I finally ended things last week. I haven't responded to any of her messages since then, and I have not seen her in person since October 6th. We haven't had intimacy since October 3rd. When I ended things, I told her I couldn't give her what she needed from me, and she deserved someone who would love her completely. I mentioned some pressure at home and that I was concerned about my wife finding out. Not really true, but I said it. I've been researching how to handle breakups, and I don't think anyone has advice for how I can deal with my specific situation. I think my girl is just damn crazy. I told her I wouldn't respond to her messages anymore, and that I didn't want to see her again. I haven't blocked her since I'm afraid if I delete her or remove her like that, she might do something rash. I stressed to her that she can't go to my wife, and I don't think she is going to. I made it seem like my wife would end her, and I think she believes that. My problem is I'm still getting texts from her on a daily basis. It is really, truly unbelievable at this point. We weren't even together for that long. Some of the texts are harmless. Things like, "Hey, Noah, I was just thinking of you." Or "miss you," which is okay, I suppose. It's just hard because I asked her not to text me and she keeps up with it. I'm either going to get caught by my wife or succumb again. My reason for posting is earlier today she sent me a sultry pic but acted like it was going to someone else. It was her tits with her hands covering them, and the text said, "Last night was super fun, Danny. My name is not Danny." Either she accidentally sent it to me or it was some weird attempt to make me jealous, which I admit it did a little. So I am just looking for some type of feedback on what is going through her head and what I need to do to make sure we stay broken up. I cannot get back with her. Relevant comments. Somebody said, "Speaking as a male with a history of infidelity, I can tell you this. You had the affair for a reason. You likely know what that reason is. The affair is a symptom either of something going on with you or something lacking in your marriage. Forget the crazy girl, you can block her calls, texts through your cell provider, confess to your wife, offer to go to individual and couples therapy, and hope like hell she is willing to see this through. If you don't do these things, this, or something very much like it, will happen again. Original poster replied, "My wife will not stay with me if I confess to having an affair. As flawed as our marriage is, I do love my wife and my kids and our family. I'm not willing to jeopardize that by chancing it with a confession. I know why I had the affair. It was a combination of being fed up with my wife's lack of trust in me, being disappointed in our bed life, and just opportunity. The affair won't happen again. I'm going to work so hard on making our romantic life better once we are cleared for that again. I'm going to commit to my wife alone." This was a wake-up call for me, and it's made me realize how great my wife is. Update. Decided to post an update to this thread since I have made some progress with ending things with Emma, and a couple people did request it. Read all the replies and messages last time, but it started to get ugly. So I decided to take a step back. My apologies for not responding. Also just a simple request, no more private messages. Background is, I am a married man that had a 1-month affair. That I regret deeply. I am working on ending the affair and ending contact with the woman I cheated on my wife with. I've really struggled with ending things with her. I've tried multiple times to end it since we hooked up, and I finally ended things last week. I haven't responded to any of her messages since then, and I have not seen her in person since October 6th. We haven't had intimacy since October 3rd. I am still getting messages from her, however, I've been doing a lot of reading and thinking on how to handle a breakup, and most of the advice is not geared towards someone in my situation. With an affair, I've been trying a lot of different things to end the relationship. And I have come to the conclusion that Emma is just crazy. There is no other explanation. My main concerns right now is ending the affair and ending any emotions I have towards Emma, and making sure my wife never finds out. I've stressed to Emma she cannot talk to my wife ever. I don't think Emma is going to talk to my wife since she has never mentioned it. I've also built my wife up as someone who will take it out on her, so I think she is afraid of that coming out. It is in the back of my mind, though. If I push her too far, she won't care and will talk. My problem is I'm still getting texts from her. On a daily basis, it is really, truly unbelievable at this point. We weren't even together for that long. Some of the texts are harmless. Things like, "Hey Noah, I was just thinking of you," or "miss you," which is okay, I suppose. It's just hard because I asked her not to text me and she keeps up with it. I'm either going to get caught by my wife or succumb again. My reason for posting is yesterday morning. Sunday she sent me a sultry pic but acted like it was going to someone else. It was her tits with her hands covering them, and the text said, "Last night was super fun, Danny. My name is not Danny." Either she accidentally sent it to me, or it was some weird attempt to make me jealous, which I admit it did a little. I didn't bite and respond. Though I have another post up where someone was telling me I like her attention, which after thinking about it for a bit, I have to agree is true. I like that she wants me, that she is in love with me or feels like she is. Rather, I love that. If I wanted, I could go and bang her right now and she would let me. It's addicting, and so damn wrong. I know what is important. It's my wife and our family. I know that. And I am trying to forget Emma and what we did. I'm just struggling to detox myself from Emma. And she is making it so damn difficult for me by continuing contact. Right now, I am just hoping to vent a little and maybe talk this out. My focus is to keep up no contact with Emma. I debated offering to be friends with her, but that is incredibly stupid and tempting. And I don't think that is a good idea. My other goal is to really get to a point of not caring about her. I'm still hooked on her. Every time I jack off, I am thinking about her and I am using her pics to help. The hardest part is there is a sensual outlet for me right now, and I am a very high drive person, so it's really very alluring to just go and bang her. I don't know how to forget her. And then there is the problem of her suffering from this same thing, but seemingly worse. I haven't told her I am thinking about her, but she makes it clear to me that she is thinking about me and wants me. Relevant comments. Somebody said, "You're not a smart man." Original poster replied, "I certainly haven't been smart in how I've handled this affair for sure. I'm trying to do right by my family. Though I've made some mistakes, I'd like to think I am starting to change my ways." Update. I am curious if anyone here has any experience with an affair with a strong emotional connection. It seems to me that a lot of the affairs that people talk about and provide advice for are often strictly sensual. I've been involved with another woman for almost 2 months now. It's been scary, thrilling, terrifying, and it's made me feel so alive I've done some things right. I've kept it all concealed from my wife, and she does not have any real suspicion of me cheating at this point. What I've done wrong is numerous. I've become emotionally involved with the other woman. She regularly tells me that she loves me, which I do admit I enjoy hearing. I haven't repeated it to her, but I certainly do care about her. I've done some petty things, like acting jealous, which is ridiculous. I know and she knows I care. The affair has become about more than just the intimacy I'm talking to her all the time. Maybe even more than my wife and I talk. I have no desire to leave my wife or marriage. We have 2 children together and are expecting our 3rd. I think I started to cheat initially over some dissatisfaction, sexually and emotionally, and general restlessness. I do feel guilty, but I've come to accept it now. For a while, I was consumed with guilt and toyed Emma, the other woman, around. I've settled down emotionally, and I accept that the affair is happening and that I am a cheater. My question is, what sort of advice does one need to adhere to with something emotional like this? Other than don't get emotionally involved. Since at this point, I already am. I've told her that I am not going to leave my wife many times, in fact, and she seems to be okay with it. She just doesn't like talking about my wife. Is there anything I must avoid? I am looking at some sort of exit strategy for the affair. Right now, I don't want to mess with a good thing, but I don't want this. Nor do I think it can go on for years. The affair itself has been a boon for me emotionally and sexually. Aside from the guilt, it's made me feel like I am actually living my life to the fullest. I don't want to stop, but I don't want to get caught or hurt anyone unnecessarily. Relevant comments. Somebody said, "Give it enough time and your wife will know. When a woman says she loves you, that means she is willing to fight for you. She will tell your wife. If she hasn't already, I knew my ex was cheating for years before I got fed up and took the kids to a fault state to file the divorce. A single bang up and he will not have visitation. Cheating makes you a bad parent. In my opinion, because you are teaching your kids the behavior is acceptable and they pick up on things. Adults miss." Original poster replied, "Which is exactly what I am afraid of, and I want to try to preempt Emma. My girlfriend, the other woman, has actually said some things that do have me concerned. Like along the lines of, 'I'll wait for you.' I tried to shut that down quickly, though. What I'm looking for right now is advice on how to continue the affair at an emotional level while not putting myself or my marriage at risk of exposure. I've had a lot of people tell me not to cheat. I've thought over that decision long and hard. Believe me, I've come to my decision there. And I'm not really looking for anyone to tell me not to cheat. I think what you did to your ex-husband was cruel, to try to take his time away from his children and deprive the kids of their father. Because of cheating is just wrong. Just as wrong as cheating, in my opinion. No wonder he was cheating if you are that cold and calculating. I also disagree that cheating makes you a bad parent. A lot of times people cheat as a last resort. Anyways, just something to think about.